Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of It's a Ootsy Thing and What's for Supper. I just recorded a whole segment of what I'm doing, and my microphone went dead. So I'm going to backtrack here just a little bit and tell you what's going on. My husband, Michael, and I, we host a Connect group in our home in the spring semester and then in the fall semester. This is considered the spring semester, even though it's winter. And we are starting that back up tonight. We break between November and the end of January, and then we take a break in May through August. We serve a meal, and then we feed them the Word of God. And so it's always wonderful to be able to do that. I love serving people and sharing our home and having a time of fellowship. So we're going to get started on that. I'm going to insert the video. I might do a voiceover so that you'll know what I did on the dessert, because you're going to want to make this dessert. It's blueberry dump cake, and it looks delicious. I got this recipe for this blueberry dump cake from Denta Diva. I would encourage you to follow her on social media as well as get her emails. I get her emails every day, and she has amazing recipes on there. I've made several of her recipes, but this looked really good, easy. I love to do dump cakes, especially for large groups like this and when I've got so much going on. So they're easy to make. So I will insert that video here. So we're going to get started. We've got a lot to get done. I've got vegetables and fruit in my sink that have been soaking in vinegar water that cleans them, purifies them. It also preserves them. So those are ready to come out of the water, and I'm going to get those cut up, and then we're going to get started on our soups. For the blueberry dump cake, the first thing you will do is add 2 cans of blueberry pie filling. These are 21-ounce cans. If you would prefer to use a different flavor, you certainly can. But the blueberry is definitely one of my favorites. Once you have spread the pie filling into the casserole dish, then you will take 1 block of cream cheese. This is an 8-ounce block, 1/4 cup of sugar, and 1 egg, and mix that all together with a hand mixer. Once you have that mixed together, spread that over the top of your blueberry pie filling. Make sure that it is evenly spread out, but try to not mix the pie filling with the cream cheese mixture. Now you will take either a yellow cake mix or a white cake mix, whichever one you prefer, and sprinkle that over the top of your pie filling and cream cheese filling. Then take 2 sticks of butter, cut into squares, and put that on top of the entire cake. And you're ready to bake this in the oven. Here's my sink of fruits and vegetables that I have soaking in vinegar water to clean them as well as preserve them. get all of my vegetables all cut up. And what I like to do when I have several meals like I know that I have coming up, I like to just go ahead and take the time to chop up my onions, my peppers, carrots, celery. Do that all at one time. Put it in containers or Ziploc bags. Put it in the freezer. It's ready for when I'm ready to make my soups. So I'm going to finish this last onion. You all know how I like my chopper. Did you know that you can set a wet dish rag or a wet rag of some kind near where you are working using these onions that make you cry? And that fragrance or whatever it is that makes you cry goes to that dish rag, and it won't go to your eyes that makes you cry. It goes to the moisture, so that's why you have a wet dish rag sitting there. And it works. I can definitely smell these onions. If I didn't have this dish rag here, I would be crying like crazy. These are some strong onions. This is one big onion. I'm gonna split it between the two soups. Okay, the first soup that I'm gonna do is the chicken vegetable. And the first thing I've gotta do on that is saute my onions, and I've got some garlic, which is this, it's just garlic in the jar. This onion was big, so about a half of that onion is all I'm gonna use in this soup, because I'm gonna use the rest of it in the cheeseburger soup. I had already cooked a chicken. I did that yesterday, and so I will tear some of the chicken off of the bones and go ahead and put it in my crock pot. Both of these are going to be in the crock pot, but I want to cook my cheeseburger soups first on the stove because I've got to fry hamburger and things like that. But since the chicken is already cooked for the chicken vegetable soup, I'm just going to go ahead and start putting things in the crock pot for that particular soup. Today was definitely a day of microphone malfunctions, so I'm going to tell you what I'm doing in my chicken vegetable soup. I have in my crock pot 3 cups of cooked chicken that I have shredded up. I am adding 3 cups of chicken broth. To that, I'm adding 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 14.5-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, 2 cups of frozen mixed vegetables, adding my sauteed onions and garlic in there. I also added a teaspoon of parsley, a teaspoon of oregano, and salt and pepper. This recipe does call for a half teaspoon of thyme, but I don't care for the flavor of thyme, so I don't add that in there. So you just add the spices that you like. Now that we have everything in the crock pot, I've got it set on high for 2 hours. Now I'm ready to start on our cheeseburger soup. You're going to brown 1 pound of hamburger meat, and you can saute your vegetables in a separate pan if you choose, but I find it just as easy to use one pan, so I add all of my vegetables in with my hamburger to fry it all at the same time. I have a half a cup of chopped onion, probably closer to 3/4 cup of chopped onion, 3/4 cup of shredded carrots, 3/4 cup of diced celery, And all that is fried together. And as you can see, I could have used a little bit larger skillet to fry all of that in, but I made it work. In a separate boiling pan, I have 3 cups of chicken broth. I'm dicing up 4 or 5 potatoes that I have already peeled and adding that to the broth so the potatoes can begin to boil. I'm adding some salt and pepper, as well as a teaspoon of dried basil and a teaspoon of dried parsley flakes. Now that my hamburger and vegetables have all fried, I'm adding that to my chicken broth along with my potatoes. Now the vegetables that I fried with the hamburger are not completely soft, which is fine because they're going to soften up some more once I add it to the chicken broth, because that's going to cook some more. Now I'm just cutting up some more fruit. This is a pineapple here. My friend gave me this pineapple core and I sure do like it. Sure makes it handy for cutting up a fresh pineapple. Just pulls the core out, you throw the outer part away, and then you just cut up your pineapple. It is really handy. All right, we're now ready to put our Velveeta cheese in. Calls for 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese. And I just kind of cut this up into small pieces so that it will melt easier. And this is just simmering. All the vegetables are done. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of milk. I'm not measuring, I'm just guessing. And our soup is done. It's just going to, the rest of that cheese is going to melt. It's just going to simmer and we're ready for everyone to arrive. Before I serve the cheeseburger soup, it calls for about 1/4 cup of sour cream. So I'll squirt some sour cream in there before I serve it. My cobbler or my dump cake is getting ready to go in the oven. I made some homemade bread yesterday. I'm going to toast that in the oven as well, and then we'll be ready to go. Well, today didn't come without its technical difficulties with the microphone malfunction, but we made it through. And the main thing is that the soups turned out good, and everyone that came to our Connect group really enjoyed the soups. They all said that they were very good. They enjoyed the homemade wheat bread that I made. We had the salad and then the blueberry dump cake. Everybody loved that as well. There were very few leftovers. So that's always a good thing whenever there's not many leftovers. So all in all, it was a successful day and successful evening. It was a busy day getting everything prepared, but that's okay.
I love doing that type of thing. So hopefully you will try making these soups yourself. And I have got another YouTuber working with me on ways that I can post and put on the screen the recipes. I know the way that I'm doing it right now is not working well. They're not that easy to see. So he's working with me so we can figure out a better way to post those recipes so that you can see them, you can screenshot them if you want to. Or if you just want to write them down as I'm saying them, that's fine too. But I want to try to find a little bit better way for that to be posted. So we're working on that. This is all a new process for me, trying to figure out all the things. So hopefully you will try the soups. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'd be happy to help you out on that. And if you have any recipes you would like me to try, let me know. I will add that to the list. I've got several things that people have suggested that I try and I make, and so those are on the list of things to do. So thank you so much for joining me today, and if you would, please like, subscribe, and share. That always helps the channel to grow, and we do appreciate you so much. So remember, enjoy your meal. See you next time.